You see that LV monogram, right? And you immediately think of ultimate luxury, global success, and just unimaginable wealth. I mean, it is the most valuable luxury fashion brand in the world. But the story of how it got there? Oh, it's one of the most unbelievable tales of struggle, genius, and ruthless ambition you'll ever hear. Okay, let's get into it.
I mean, just look at this contrast. It's kind of wild. On one hand, you've got the brand today. The guy who runs the parent company, Bernard Arnault, is worth something like $180 billion. He's one of the richest people on earth. And on the other hand, you have the founder, Louis Vuitton himself. He started out as a homeless teenager, no formal education at all. The journey from literally sleeping on a forest floor to the absolute peak of luxury, well, that's what makes this story so insane.
So to really get this brand, you got to start with the man himself. This isn't just a story about fancy handbags, it's a story about sheer survival and grit. And it all begins with a journey that, honestly, almost defies belief.
This timeline, wow, it just lays out a staggering level of hardship. Louis was born in 1821 into extreme poverty. I'm talking no electricity, no running water. Then his mom dies, his dad remarries, and his life just becomes unbearable. So at just 13 years old, he runs away. His goal? Paris, which was 225 miles away, a journey that took him 3 full years to complete, all on foot. Just think about that for a second. For 3 years, this kid was homeless, sleeping in forests, just trying to survive by taking any odd job he could find. But here's the crazy part. This wasn't wasted time. While he was working for all these different craftsmen, he was accidentally building this totally unique skill set, learning how to work with metal, stone, fabric, and wood. And those skills, they would become the foundation for his entire future. So when he finally makes it to Paris, he gets an apprenticeship as a box maker and packer. Now, this was a highly skilled job back then. You see, wealthy families needed these custom-made boxes to transport their fancy clothes and belongings. This job was his ticket into high society, and he got so good at it that he was eventually hired by the Empress of France herself. But Louis wasn't happy just packing boxes. He wanted to reinvent them. See, at the time, all luggage trunks had these rounded tops, so rain would just roll off. But that made them totally impossible to stack. So Louis had this revolutionary idea. Use a new kind of waterproof canvas to create a trunk with a flat top. It sounds so simple now, doesn't it? But with that one idea, he had just invented modern, stackable luggage, and it made him an overnight sensation. So his innovation was a total game changer, a massive success. But turning that one great idea into a brand that lasts for generations, well, that was the family's next big challenge. Let's look at how they built this workshop into a dynasty. With all this newfound success, Louis opened his own workshop, and he had to hire 20 people almost immediately just to keep up with demand. His trunks became the status symbol for the super rich, with orders coming from royalty across the globe, even as far away as Egypt. He had truly made it, and when he passed away, he left this thriving business in the very capable hands of his son, George. Okay, here's something you might not know. That iconic LV monogram, it actually wasn't created by Louis. His son, George, designed it in 1896, and he did it for 2 reasons. First, to honor his late father by using his initials, and second, to fight back against all the counterfeiters who were already trying to copy their designs. So it was part tribute, part brilliant anti-counterfeiting move. And George didn't just protect his father's legacy, he expanded it in a huge way. He moved the company into smaller leather goods and, in 1925, created a custom handbag for none other than the fashion icon Coco Chanel. This was a really pivotal moment. It helped transform the handbag from just, a functional thing you carry stuff in, into a high-fashion accessory. So the brand seemed invincible, right? But its journey was far from over. The 20th century brought 2 world wars that would threaten to destroy everything the family had built, and it forced them to make choices that would haunt their legacy for decades. The company basically had to survive 2 huge existential threats. During the Franco-Prussian War, Louis's original workshop was completely destroyed, just leveled. But he used his savings to rebuild it, bigger and better. Decades later, though, during World War II, his grandson Gaston Louis faced an even bigger challenge under the Nazi occupation, and the choice he made was way more controversial.
So, to keep the business from going under, the Louis Vuitton family chose to collaborate with the occupying Nazi regime. This decision allowed them to keep a major store open right in the heart of Paris at a time when many other businesses were being forced to shut down. It was a choice they made for survival, but it's a really dark chapter in the company's history.
And here's what's really telling, maybe even a little suspicious. According to an author who researched the company's archives, when she asked to see records from that time period, the company claimed that all the documents from 1930 to 1945 had been conveniently destroyed in a fire.
Okay, so they get through the war, and the company enters this new era of massive growth. But that growth, well, it leads to this huge power struggle that would end with the Vuitton family losing control of their own company for the first time in history.
So in the 1970s, Louis's son-in-law, Henry Racamere, takes the wheel. And this guy, he was a business genius. The growth was just insane. In just 6 years, he took the company's annual sales from what would be about $20 million today to over $260 million. The family business was officially becoming a global powerhouse.
So Racamere, he wants to go even bigger. He merges with the liquor company Moet Hennessy to form LVMH, and he brings in an outside investor to help out, a guy named Bernard Arnault. And this turned out to be a fatal mistake. Arnault started secretly buying up shares, made an alliance with the other families, and after a dramatic court battle, he legally forced the Louis Vuitton family out of their own company.
And yeah, that move, that's what earned Bernard Arnault his infamous nickname, the Wolf in Cashmere. It's a name that perfectly captured his reputation as this brilliant but totally ruthless businessman who was known for these aggressive, perfectly executed corporate takeovers. So now Arnault is in charge, and the brand is about to go through its biggest transformation yet. It's going to shed that traditional old image and become the modern, all-conquering empire that we know today. Arnault's playbook was brilliant and, well, totally aggressive. He brought in edgy, fashion-forward designers. He expanded into clothing, watches, jewelry, the whole shebang. He built a legal army to go after counterfeiters. But most importantly, he started buying up other luxury brands, eventually building LVMH into this massive empire of over 70 iconic names, all while making Louis Vuitton cool and relevant to a younger crowd. And if you want a perfect example of this new mindset, get this. Louis Vuitton once sued the streetwear brand Supreme for copying its logo. But years later, under Arnault, they collaborated with them. It created one of the most hyped fashion drops in history. And with some of those items now reselling for over $100,000, the strategy was pretty clear. It was all about the bottom line.
And the results of these strategies, I mean, they're just staggering. Look at this chart. The numbers are huge. That first bar, that's the Louis Vuitton brand itself, valued at nearly $40 billion. The second bar, towering over it, represents the net worth of LVMH's CEO, Bernard Arnault, the man who took it over, who is now consistently one of the richest people on the entire planet.
And so here we are today. The company that started with a homeless kid walking to Paris now has over 400 stores all over the world. It remains the undisputed #1 fashion brand on the planet, a symbol of ultimate status and luxury. It's a journey that's almost too incredible to be true.
So it really leaves you with this fascinating question, doesn't it? When you look back at the whole story, from a founder's unbelievable grit to a family's dark compromises and then a corporate raider's ruthless takeover, is the story of Louis Vuitton a triumph of brilliant innovation, or is it a testament to pure, ruthless ambition? You know, maybe the truth is that to build an empire this big, it takes a little bit of both.